watching the sunrise.
Disappear, reappear, cause I like it here. You can call me Night.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Shadow Realm Sports Podcast. This is our second episode. Thank you for tuning in. I told you guys in the last episode I wanted to give you a proper intro to what we do as a collective. My name is Drew. Drew, what I do on all platforms. I am part of the Shadow League Records Collective. We're a multimedia company in the hopes of getting our creative ideas like this one, like this sports offshoot that we have here, out into the world. We have a lot of music in store. That song you just heard right now, that was Disappear, featuring myself and my boy Jarrah. We just dropped that at the beginning of the year. It was our first official release under the Shadow League record label. We have plenty more in store. We have Jarrah's project coming up. He just dropped his latest single, MVE, Man vs. Everybody, about a week ago. And he has an album coming up pretty soon, so you guys stay tuned. So let's get right into this. First of all, I don't know if you guys noticed, I was kind of mad before the song started playing on my Kobe pose after the championship. And that's because we lost, man. We lost by one. Heartbreaking. Especially considering we had this game in the bag, man. We had a 13-point lead at one point in the third quarter, and it just completely went sideways. But let's recap from the beginning, from the top. First of all, the game was actually delayed by about an hour due to a suspicious package outside of the stadium. Atlanta police was able to determine that there was no threat. Nobody was injured. They were able to get the game started. An hour delayed, but thank God everybody was okay. Before we get into the actual game, I just want to talk about a rumor that started yesterday that I feel needs to be addressed. It's not a rumor that's gaining a lot of traction because of the source where it came from. But apparently, according to Skip Bayless, and I say less, emphasis on less, there's beef brewing between Jimmy Butler and Victor Oladipo. Apparently, that's the reason why Vic is not getting any minutes. I call BS. You can't take anything that Skip Bayless says. You know, you can take that with a grain of salt because he's proven to be just a controversial figure, someone that likes to spark controversy so he can get his ratings up. So as of right now, if you don't hear it straight from the horse's mouth, we're considering that a mystery. All right, so let's get right into the game, man. First half, the Hawks seemed to be controlling the pace, okay? They were playing that run and gun style. Trae Young struggled early on, but their other young players, Bogdanovich, is that how you pronounce the name? Bogdanovich was able to, pour in his numbers, swing momentum. He was getting open. They had a lot of threes. They were just controlling the pace. Still, we were able to keep right up with them. So it wasn't much of a deficit going into the second half. Jimmy Butler had a strong first quarter. He started off the game great, 4 for 7, 11 points. But then it looks like he got bumped in the air. I don't know if that had anything to do with how his game went for the rest of the night. But he only had 9 points after that little scare. It doesn't look to be too bad. He was able to finish the game, but again, it looks like it affected his play. Tyler had a strong first half, 15 points, coming off the bench, 6th man of the year, no question. Where the hell was Duncan Robinson, man? First game, went 8 for 9, 90% from the field, had great minutes off the bench, and second game, he just disappeared. Wasn't given any minutes, and this third game, we're going to get into what happened in the second half. No significant minutes from Duncan, so what happened to Duncan's game remains a mystery. All right, so the second half started. We were able to go on a 21-0 run. I have no idea why the Atlanta coaching staff never called a timeout. I would have stopped the bleeding. Any other coach would have stopped the bleeding at some point, but they just went on a 21-0 deficit and never called a timeout. Good for us. We went up by 13 at that point, and it looks like we were going to have I don't want to say easy the rest of the night, but it looks like we were going to have the advantage for the rest of the night. But I was wrong. And what happened, you might ask? Is actually not a mystery. I'm going to tell you exactly what happened. Kyle Lowry, man. So Kyle Lowry, as soon as he injured his leg, the game changed completely, okay? Once he left, at that point, he had 6 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, which might not, they don't look like staggering numbers, but it's not always about the stats that you put up. It's about your effectiveness on the court, all right? Kyle Lowry is our general or floor general. Once he was out, there was no one to orchestrate the defense. At that point, we tried giving some pointless minutes to Duncan Robinson. He came in with no rhythm, was not able to provide anything on offense. Caleb Martin came in for like 50 seconds, nothing. Gabe Vincent gave us 17 minutes of nothing, 3 points. Deadmon, my boy Deadmon, man, I don't know. I don't know what he's doing out there, yo. He's just running out there. He's supposed to come in and provide relief for Bam, and he just comes in there and gets us some fouls, man. I really don't know what's going on with him. I wish we'd give more minutes to Yurt. Hopefully, Coach Spo takes that into consideration for next game, but he's just not playing his role the way he's supposed to. He ended up with 7 points and 2 rebounds. Very disappointing. No one to orchestrate the offense. Jimmy was left to play ISO, try to play one-on-one. Tyler was doing the same thing, so there was really no rhythm, nobody calling any switches, nobody spacing the floor. It was kind of like a malarkey. Every man for himself. We weren't playing like a team like we usually do. And because of that, the Hawks were able to capitalize with a big run. Trae Young started getting into his rhythm again, hitting shots from the logo and getting his teammates involved. So everybody started getting into a rhythm. At that point, they were able to go up. Trae Young ends up hitting the game winner right in Jimmy's face and kind of stares him down, which irked me. I know I'm laughing here, but I'm hurting, man. Yeah, we ended up losing the game. Jimmy ended up taking what I think was a bad play design. Took a desperation shot, didn't go in. Honestly, I would have gone to Tyler Hero. Would have gone to anybody else that had any sort of rhythm, but it is what it is. We'll get him next game. Before we go on to the next game, I just want to talk about some other points. Spo was asked earlier in the week about his rotation going into the game or going into the playoffs, and he said he would use his full 15-man rotation. He has not done so far. A lot of people have been sitting out. Marcus Morris, Oladipo is getting no minutes. So I just really hope he starts using his full rotation like he said he would, get everybody in rhythm, and hopefully that leads to more W's. All right, so moving on from the Heat, man, I'm, again, really disappointed, but let's keep going. Second game of the night, Milwaukee versus Chicago, where they actually ended up blowing them out, 30 points. And there's not really much to say about this game other than DeMar and DeRozan and Zach. They really need to step up, man, because they are clearly outmatching this in this series. Even with Chris Middleton out, they need to step up. DeMar needs to drop 40 points. Zach needs to score like he usually does. I think this just really speaks to what the Bulls have been doing all year, is just beating up on the lower tier teams, below 500 teams. So when it gets to a top team like the Bucks, they're just outmatched. I think there's something like 0-18 against the top 6 teams in the league, which is terrible. Terrible. And on the Milwaukee side, I mean, I can't take away any credit from them. They had a really balanced game. Drew Holiday, 16 points. Giannis 18 and Bobby Portis poured in 18 and 16. So can't take anything away from them. They had a great game. I think the series is pretty much over, but it remains to be seen. Let's move on to the next game. So the last game of the night, Phoenix versus NOLA. And again, just like the previous game, I just think the Pelicans are outmatched. They barely squeezed into the playoffs. Even with Devin Booker out, it's still going to be very tough for them, as you saw tonight. We had DeAndre Ayton pouring in his playoff career high, 28 points and 17 boards tonight. So we had Chris Paul taking over the fourth quarter. Chris Paul is just going insane right now. 28 assists in the last 2 games with no turnovers. That's the best assist to turnover ratio for a 2-game span league history. So it's just Phoenix, doing their thing. As far as New Orleans, man, like I said, they're outmatched, but today they really showed their age. They're a very young team. They're missing their superstar in Zion Williamson, who hopefully comes back sometime next year. But they really showed their age tonight, man. We had Jackson Hayes throw a unnecessary shove in the second quarter, which, that's one of their best young players. And they could have really used him for the rest of the game. Just flashing his age, 21 years old, barely old enough to drink. Not old enough, apparently, to handle his emotions in the biggest stage in the playoffs. You can't be doing that in the playoffs. That really hurt his team. So he ended up getting ejected for saying Jay Crowder stinks. And yeah, man, not much else to say about this game. This is just a number 1 team doing their thing, even without their superstar. They're going to continue to do that. Those were the games for the night. I do have a couple of topics or a couple of questions for you guys. When the playoffs do come around, there seems to be a lot of injuries, especially in the past couple seasons. A lot of people want to contribute that to the length of the season, the style of play now, the fact that the players are more athletic, bigger, they're faster, so they get hurt a lot easier, especially when the playoffs come around. There's been a lot of talk about shortening the season, and I just want to know if you guys think that's a good move. Personally, I think it would be a good for the league to shorten the season for about 10 games or so. Maybe that helps a little bit by the time the playoffs come around, so the league can see its superstars playing at the highest level. So I just want to know, what do you guys think? Should we shorten the season? Let me know. Yes, no, maybe so. Comments below. We're going to have a poll. Ho, ho, ho. And yeah, man, that's our show for today. Short and sweet. I'm still pissed about my Heat losing tonight, but hey, we'll get them next time, all right? Once again, thank you for tuning in. My name is Drew. Drew What It Do. Follow us on Instagram at Shadow Realm Sports. Follow us on Twitter, Shadow Realm SP. Once again, if you made it this far, I just want to say I love you. I thank you. We would love and appreciate your feedback. Our show will continue to evolve with every single episode based on your feedback. DM me, comment below, drop me a line, send me a pigeon. I don't know. So again, one love. Peace.
No matter, you gon' see us in the sunrise.
Disappear, reappear, cause I like it here.